All right, welcome in. Welcome back to the BFR Podcast presented by Sports Mockery and Homage and Fanatics. We got to throw that in there as well. We are partnered with Fanatics for the BFR Podcast. So, again, today we have some news, something to talk about, of course, Ficky. Before we get into, Caleb Williams, OTAs today, first one open to the media. You're in a little different spot. We'll let the people hear you. What's going on?
Yeah. So my mom, I hope my mom moved. This is actually the house I grew up in they've owned this house for like 35 years, and she's finally selling it and moving down to Atlanta. So I came up to Indiana, which I'm originally from, to kind of like make sure everything is set to go before it gets put on market. Why I'm on a phone is because when I went to charge my laptop, which is about as old as this house, about 9 years, I love it, it wouldn't turn on. So don't know about that, but we'll work on getting that fixed.
You gotta love it. So I was talking to Sadiq, Deeks Wave or Next Wave Sports, Next Wave Ball, I think is what it's called. Check out their work over there on YouTube and on Twitter. But his MacBook was acting up. He had a factory reset it not too long ago, like today. And so I don't know what's going on. Mine's working fine. Everything's going well. So
you just got a good one. So hopefully it's working fine. And I'm kind of a tech dude. So like I've taken apart this computer like multiple times to put in like storage. I've replaced a battery and all that, but I don't have the tools here, or either I would just get in there and figure it out. But like I said, I've had this computer since 2015. So it might be time to just make the upgrade. You know what I mean? So it's all good though. At least we got a phone that we can do
that Twitter money, that X money.
Oh yeah, I love it. Stack it up. Pay about 10% of what those computers go for. So
it'll take care of sales tax maybe. Okay, so let's start it off. So Caleb Williams, OTAs, Bears offense. Obviously, we'll get it out the way. Not a great day at all. Really tough day for Caleb Williams. He's a rookie. Of course, I mean, you take it with a grain of salt, but I want to just go ahead and start with Caleb. We'll kind of talk about, the Caleb meter. I guess we'll kind of throw that out there is what we're going to do this year. Starting with OTAs, starting really early. But are you worried at all? And we'll get to the details on some of, some of the passes, some of the sacks that he took by just running out of the bounce on 7-on-7s. So first of all, Ficky, are you worried at all, man, in regards to today, May 23rd, and Caleb Williams had a rough day?
Yeah, I think you just answered it. It's May 23rd. You know what I mean? This is the first week of OTAs. And let's be real, right? This is a rookie quarterback. He's coming in and learning a whole new offense. Also, another thing that I don't think as fans, which we wouldn't expect to know, even as medias, we don't understand the context behind what the purpose of today was, right? So there was like, I think someone mentioned like one of the bad things they noticed about Caleb Williams was like he was basically getting chased for a sack, and instead of throwing the ball, he ran to the boundaries and ran out of bounds for a sack, right? We don't know if the coaches said, hey, this week, let's focus on not forcing any throws, just get out of bounds or eat a sack, right? We don't understand the context behind what they decided to do this week and what the goals were and what they're trying to accomplish with Caleb Williams. So, I mean, in the grand scheme, am I like worried about one day of a bad practice from a rookie quarterback? No, not really. I mean, last OTAs, we heard some great things about Fields and it didn't necessarily come out on game days, and then vice versa. I'm pretty sure Mitch had a couple, days where he lit it up in practice, and we obviously saw that didn't necessarily equate to it being on on Sunday. So, take it with a grain of salt at this moment, especially day one.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. And we'll kind of get to some of the details here, but I mean, Patrick Mahomes, his rookie season, or I think it was his first year of starting, right? So his second year in the league. I mean, I think he had, there was headlines about how many interceptions he had in training camp. To preface this is OTAs in May, like I mentioned. This isn't even training camp. So for me, I think, as far as worries go, I'm at a 0. Scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a 0 in regards to,
0.
Being slightly concerned at all in regards to Caleb having just a tough day. And like I said, Patrick Mahomes, the guy that he's compared, probably most often to, and then you have Aaron Rodgers. But for me, it's like, it's part of the game. It's part of just learning. I mean, you have a whole new offense. Everyone's learning it. And he also, we'll get to who wasn't there and who was, but I mean, he was missing Odunze and Keenan Allen, his 2 top targets,
Right.
2 out of his probably top 3, top 4 targets if you include Cole Kmet. So again, Patrick Mahomes, he struggled. You don't want to see this every day, but you haven't, because there was actually, I think it was Kevin Bayard. You had a great quote, Ficky, or you actually threw it up on the BFR Twitter, I believe, and Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can't pull it up real quick.
And while you pull that up, I want to make another reference to another player who, this was training camp as well, but they said this player is dropping every pass that comes his way. He is not catching balls. That player ended up being Jamar Chase. So, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean, exactly. You know, one of the top 3 wide receivers in the league, you know.
Yeah.
Because again, it is practice. It's just practice. I sound like Allen Iverson saying that, but it is just practice.
So this is what the quote that I was talking about here, which there's actually a Allen Iverson gif. I'm not sure if you can see it
that's funny.
from your phone.
Yeah, I see
that's
it.
in the comments, which is just absolutely hilarious. But so Kevin Byard, he had this to say. So the first day, the offense really got after us, and he's talking about Monday, this Monday, where I guess the Bears offense, obviously got the best of the defenses in regards to is what Kevin's saying. And he's one of the leaders on this team. He's the vet. He's an all-pro that the Bears brought in free agency. And so for him to say that, you obviously you take it with a grain of salt as well, just because it is OTAs. But he said Caleb Williams made some good throws, some deep passes. He had a really good day, referring to Monday's OTA. It was not open to the media. It was closed. So we have to trust him and what he says. But then he says today we got after him. And that's the truth in all of this, to be honest, because from some of my notes here, which we'll go ahead and get to your Ficky, in regards to Caleb and what kind of transpired here. Let's see here. So the Bears defense, the back 7 especially, was very, very, very chippy. Very, very chippy, very talkative, which we're not surprised. If you heard all last year during training camp, Brisker, Gordon, you got a bunch of guys back there, young guys, some vets that are just, they know how good they are. That's what I truly believe. And so they're playing it with an all-time confidence. They really, really put the pressure on. They didn't even have Montez Sweat back there as well, which we'll get to, who wasn't there and who was, of course. But honestly, I guess we can do best and worst here, but I hate that Caleb had a hard day, but it's like this defense, this is I really believe that we're going to see an insane performance this year just across the board. Obviously, edge worries you a little bit, but just that back 7, the young corners.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Caleb, this is how you learn. This is how you get better. And I know as Bears fans, we're kind of used to the fact where it's like, can they not just have a dominant offensive performance? And the fact is, maybe they did. We're only seeing one of these out of the last 3. And I think the media is open next week as well. But it's like, we're not able to see every single day, like training camp, the improvement where it's like, okay, are they battling? Are they going, defense one day, offense gets the next? It worries you if it's like a Mitch and even Justin last year, I believe, where it was like, the defense is consistently kicking the offensive ass. So it's like, for me, this feels good. I'm not upset. I'm not worried.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. I think the good point, which I was going to say as well, is that we don't know if the offense has sucked every day this week, right? It seems like they got at least one good day, and so that's great. Another key piece about the defense is looking really good is because this defense is in the year 3 of this system. Year 3. So there's 2 factors here, right? Not only is it that you have people already in a system, so the learning curve is not as hard, right? There weren't, when you look at the back 7, right, there were no new pieces added. So there's no new learning in that. So you already have the experience, right, with that. And then also we know when it comes to training camp, OTAs, typically the defense is a little bit further ahead than the offense because the offensive playbook and scheme is a little bit more complicated than on the defensive side. So having all of that, I'm not surprised that the defense is going to win some days. And then you made a great point as well that the defense should be pretty good. We saw how they were in the back half of last year. Looked pretty dominant, especially in the back 7. So why would we not expect the same here? Again, if we're going to assume that some of these players are going to keep growing like we saw with JJ, then that means Tyreek Stevenson's getting better. Jaquan Brisker's getting even better. Kyler Gordon's getting even better, right? And we already know the linebackers were dogs last year. So you can expect that they should be at least at the same, if not better as well. So taking all of that in, it's just like, okay, yeah, Caleb's coming into a situation where he has to learn a lot about this playbook, right? Which they're giving to him in pieces. And then he not only has to try to try to execute well, he has to do it against a defense that's been here for a minute that is going to be a little bit sharper because of that. So you put those two together, you're like, okay, and that's fine. That's fine. And it goes back again. This is May 23rd, the first OTA to the public. And like Kevin said, Kevin Byard, it seems like Caleb, maybe the offense was clicking already. It is just that the media only got to see this one. So of course, it's going to be a shitstorm all over the internet. So.
Yeah, I think you're right. And as far as like the shitstorm, Ficky, I want to say I'm kind of proud of like Bears Twitter, or at least Bears fans in general. And like I've received a couple texts where it's like, not worried. Like, are we? I think we've grown maybe as a fan base where it's like, and it is May and people are enjoying, touching grass and just maybe they're just not able to be upset right now. But, come training camp, I'm sure it'll be a different story. But I'm actually kind of proud of the way that everyone, at least on my timeline, it seems very clean, very logical. And perhaps just the civil war with Justin and Caleb, maybe we're just past all of that and everyone's calm and calculated with their tweets. I haven't seen too much craziness on the timeline, which is refreshing.
Agree. I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, "This is weird.
This isn't toxic."
Yeah, especially after the offseason we went through. I was like, "Okay, people actually aren't freaking out. That's great, though."
Yeah.
I will say maybe we have experience where it's like we've gone. Let's be real. We've gone through 3 quarterback regimes or eras in the past under 5 years, right? So we've had a lot of experience of like, what OTAs are, what's happening in training camp, and what really happens on the field. So I think people hopefully are kind of like, that mental muscle of like, hey, just don't take it as what it is. Like for me, it's still like I need to see it on Sundays, right? And of course we'll get hyped about the good, but it's almost like you just can't get too extreme on either way, right? If Caleb goes crazy one OTA, we'll be excited about it, but I'm not going to be standing here. I doubt you will. We're like, this is the next coming of Jesus, right? No, we're going to be like, okay, that was good that he had that, but I'm sure he's going to have a bad day like he did today in the future.
Yeah, no, you're right. And so I tweeted this earlier today just in regards to Caleb's, I basically said if he has a good day, you can overreact. Absolutely. You can throw out them takes, Patrick Mahomes-esque, we found our guy, whatever you want to say. But if he has a bad day, that's where you can't overreact. I feel like that's just the rules at this time because otherwise it gets just a little much. I think it's more fun to have, I would prefer Caleb just to light it up in the offense, of course. I think Bears fans we deserve that. And I think we're going to get that. I think we're just, like you said, limited.
Good though. You know what? If there's going to be bad days, I'd rather have them now. Right? Yeah. I'd rather, if we hear bad reports, having them the first week of, practices and 7-on-7s, that makes sense. If it gets closer to training camp, obviously I want to see less of those because guess what's right around the corner? Week 1, right? So,
yeah,
you don't want any bad days at all. I get that. But, on the flip side, and we talked about this, then the defense, there is still positive on that. If Caleb Williams, which isn't a bad prospect, if he is not looking well, that means the defense is probably doing a lot of things right? They're not going against some scrub on the other side, right? I mean, he does, there's probably some things he didn't execute on, but
no, that's where you have to realize when it comes to what the Bears are doing, defensively, they've been together, like you mentioned earlier, Ficky, for 3 years, same playbook. Yeah, they have a new play call or new coach, defensive coach, DC, defensive coordinator, but Matt Eberflus is still calling the plays. Everyone's very familiar. You have Kevin Byard, who's a veteran. You have, that addition. You have the linebacker core. You have Montez Sweat, who wasn't there, at least for today. But, yeah, going up against a defense like that, and I guess we can get to Kevin's quote here. Let's see here. So, basically, after practice today, after a rough practice for Caleb, where he did struggle, especially in the red zone, Kevin Byard went up to him and was like, hey, we got you. This is good. This is going to make you better. Days like today are going to make you better, I think is what he said. And so for me, the leadership he showed just in that moment, like, you don't have to do that. You're an all-pro. Like, this is a rookie. He's going to take his lumps. We all know that. But the fact that he showed that leadership, went up to Caleb, I like that. I really, really do. And, some people might roll their eyes, it's May, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like as a locker room and as a leader, which we all expected him to be, but like this quick already, he's already there. This is voluntary. OTAs are voluntary. And so for him to not just only be there, but then make an impact on the rookie quarterback, of course, they're making his day hell, but at the same time, showing him, hey, we got this, this is what we're here for. This is only going to make you better. And I mean, you're probably talking about a top 5 defense that he's going up against every single day from today all the way up, until the real reps count, which is going to be during the regular season. So thoughts on that quote from Kevin Byard?
Either way, you're right. He's going against a good defense that is going to make him better. Like, this is not a bad defense, and it
hopefully
could be
makes him great
defense. Yeah, absolutely.
And quick.
With the Kevin Byard comment, I think, shout out to Kevin for doing that. But what I think is also very important is understanding in the past 3 years, the players that Ryan Poles has brought in and that Matt Eberflus has coached have been the right guys. Like, there was a lot of drama last year about the Bears, but literally was nothing to do with the actual players in the locker room, right? It was kind of like, the coaches and things like that. But I think it's good to see that, like, even through last year, this team went 0-4. We kind of forget because they ended on a high note, right? But this team was looking like they're not going to win a game last year, and they were able to keep the locker room strong and then keep working and persevere and actually come out, ending the season on a positive note. So that gives, you got to give hats off to the people in the locker room. And then Ryan Poles talks about it all the time. During the draft process, he's like, we got to get football guys in here. Like, they've brought in the right guys with the right mentality, right, to help rookies in a situation like this. So when there is a bad day, you have a Kevin Byard who's like, no, it's okay. I've been in the league for a minute. I know things, you know what I mean? To kind of give that confidence, make sure people are staying on track. So you hear like ex-players all the time, Dave, like ex-NFL players talk about like the most important thing to like a winning culture. And they always talk about the locker room. So what's good about this is that, it's going to be a learning experience for Caleb, but also is the testament to the guys that they have in this locker room. And I think the positive that's going to have, the impact that's going to have on this team to maybe sneak out a win or two extra moving on into this season. So,
yeah. Well, I'm just going to go over some a little bit more details on the offense and what kind of transpired. Before I do, MC Fact on YouTube has a comment here, and I really do like it. No pun intended there, but he said, hit that like button. So if you guys are watching on YouTube right now, watching live, first of all, we appreciate it. Secondly, go ahead and hit that like button. Like I said, it really does help show support and helps, grow the community that we're doing here at the BFR podcast. So back in, Caleb Williams and the offense did struggle. Some details. I do have an article up on sportsmockery.com. Just my 3 big takeaways from the Bears OTA updates. First of all, again, talking about Caleb Williams, just everything that we've seen today, he did struggle. There was incomplete passes, near interceptions. During the 7-on-7 period, Williams completed just 3 passes. One of the most alarming, someone said that he pulled a Mitch Trubisky or Justin Fields, depending on how you want to call about it, on 7-on-7s, and he actually ran out of bounds and took a sack on 7-on-7s, which is, it's interesting. It's not fun to hear that, but again, it is May 23rd. Jalen Johnson also nearly intercepted a pass over the middle of the field. Also during the red zone, it was not pretty at all. He missed DJ Moore high in the back of the end zone. Again, this is really nitpicky how I feel here. But like I said, this is May football, and we're just bringing updates, positive or negative. And then again, like I said, it's really important to note that Rome Odunze and then Keenan Allen were not there. And then, like I said, which left, the rookie quarterback Caleb Williams with out of his top 2 targets. Nate Davis and Darnell Wright were not practicing today either. So the offensive line was a little banged up as far as, or not banged up. Like I said, they were in shorts and t-shirts. I'm not even sure if they were blocking. I'm sure
that's a great question.
There was probably a little bit. I think there was some of it. But like how hard are they going? That's the real question. So for me, I just don't think there's much to panic. I do want to move over to kind of who was there and who wasn't there, Ficky, if you don't mind, because kind of that leads me into Rome Odunze, which is quite interesting here. So key players were missing from today's OTA. We don't know if they were missing, consecutive days, if they had a doctor's appointment. I know Keenan Allen is one of the names that wasn't in attendance, and I believe it was his wife's birthday either yesterday or the day before, and he's still in California, so he's celebrating with family over there. DJ Moore kind of chuckled, and because DJ had a really fun quote about why is he there? He's a veteran and everything like that, and we'll get to that later. But he essentially said that Keenan is a vet. Like, come on, man. Like, DJ is a vet. He's 26 years old, but Keenan's been in the league, 13 years? This is his 13th season.
Time.
I think he's going to be okay if he skips a May 23rd OTA. But key players that were missing were Montez Sweat, Keenan Allen, Darnell Wright, Nate Davis, Bayless Jones Jr. as well, which was interesting. Also, Rome Odunze, who was held out of the final rookie OTA practice last week, still not really participating. Let me pull up the notes here. I don't think he did anything in regards to.
He said, I think Flu said he was ramping up, but if I remember correctly, he has a hamstring injury, or that they're watching. Yeah. So there's no reason to rush that hammy.
That's
right?
fine. That's fine.
I'm okay.
Yeah, don't rush it. But I just think, like I said, this is a picture here on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. This was actually of today of Rome Odunze. So he was there. He wasn't doing much.
That's fine.
And like you said, Matt Eberflus during his press conference today on Thursday, he did mention that he is in a ramp-up period. He's looking to be back hopefully next week. I'll be honest, and people are going to roll their eyes, but it's like I would have loved to see him. Well, I guess I need to throw on the actual overlay here. Like I said, I'm on the sticks here. Our producer Jack he's actually working his last day of his, I guess, day job, and he'll be back with us next week. And then we have Ficky, who's typically the backup. He is on his, I think it's cell phone, like you said. So It's me. So bear with me, guys. But yeah, Rome Odunze, I'll be honest, I want him to be out there. I just want to see it. He's such an electric player. I'm just selfishly wanting to hear him tear it up, right? And then also in the back of my mind, the very, 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 very back. And if you're a Bears fan, I don't know how you don't have it, but there's a guy, Kevin White. Yeah. Totally different scenario, but it's like I do not want that at all. So for me, it's popped up back there. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a little weird. And call it probably PTSD right now. But
that's definitely what it is. That's
fine. So
I get it.
For Rome Odunze ramping up, he's still not out there. And that's another indication. When you're missing those two guys, Keenan and Rome,
your practice is obviously going to look better. I can tell you that.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
I'm not too concerned about again, I think it's because of the timing, right? Like if this stuff is happening in training camp, it's more of like, the injury may still be like minor, right? But I'm like, okay, the NFL season's right down the road, so we don't have as much time for you to heal up. But this is May, right? The season starts, I'd say August for the Hall of Fame game. So we have June, July, you have like 3 months, right? So 2.5, that's plenty of time. Like if we start hearing reports, let's say around like into July that like, hey, he's still having hammy issues, then I'll be a little bit more concerned. But as of right now, it seems like he's going to be back for next week's OTAs, according to Eberflus, if everything, if he stays on track. So I'm not concerned about that. But like you said, from the personal standpoint, of course, we want to see our 2 top 10 draft picks connect every play and just doing dynamic plays. Like that's amazing. We'd love to see that. But I'm also not worried that that's not going to happen. Rome also didn't miss a lot of time in college, if I remember correctly. It's not like this man had a crazy injury history. So, hey, he had a hammy issue. He's resting. Get him back when you get him back. Don't rush it. I'm not worried about it. The good thing is that he's actually there, though, because one of the biggest things about OTAs, and the same thing with rookie OTAs, is the installment, right? So they're taking in a lot of information and trying to get this playbook down. Being on the field obviously helps with that, right? I think it helps you, kind of cement some of that knowledge. but it doesn't mean that you still can't take it in with your meetings and then all the, your studying that you're doing afterwards. So overall, yes, I want to see him out there just ball out, of course, but at least he's in the building. And he should be. He's a rookie. He should be there.
Yeah, and speaking of should be there, Velus Jones Jr. wasn't there. Again, we don't know what that entails, but Nate Davis is one that almost catches your eye just due to last year, and it was it was unfortunate circumstances with his mother and everything like that. But again, I don't want to dig too much into the players that we're missing, because next week I think we'll get another insight on basically attendance. We'll see, is it the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players that aren't going to be there, or are we going to get Velus, Nate Davis, Darnell Wright, Keenan Allen, and then Sweat? Are they going to be back by next week?
If I had to guess, I would say Keenan's not. I would say
he's earned that.
You're right, which I don't care.
And he's still in California.
Montez is in Georgia because I know he's doing a youth camp. Because again, I know his sister. I know he's doing a youth camp, a football camp. I think he did it last week or this week. So it'll be interesting to see if he's back there. But of course, as the coach wants you there, right? But I just don't care for some of the guys. Put it this way, if you've performed at a high level multiple times, I'm less concerned if you're there or not. It's not like I'm worried that you can't be good, because you've shown me that you can. So someone like Keenan, who's done it for basically his whole career, you're like, okay, what does OTAs really do for you? Absolutely nothing, right? I'm sure there's some stuff, but you're good. Sweat came off a great year, right? Hopefully you'd like to see him back, but I still have faith that you're going to be fine moving into the next season. It's the ones where we haven't seen it yet. Velus Jones, right? And we're not speculating. We have no idea why, right? So these could be excusable. Everyone that's missing could be excusable. We don't know that. But if, let's say it's not, right, then that's where I'd be concerned with okay, Nate Davis, why aren't you there? You didn't have a great season last year due to circumstances, which I totally understand. I wouldn't have a great season either if I had to deal with something like that. And then Velus Jones, who, hasn't really had a great career at all. So, if it wasn't for the new kickoff return rule, you'd be really fighting for a roster spot. But since it's the new kickoff, I think he's locked in, because he did lead the league in NFL yardage per kick return. So, so overall, those are the ones where it's the guys who still need to prove it, you should be there, for sure. So we'll see what happens though.
Yeah, and when it comes to OTAs, I mean, there is money on the line, which the clip I'm going to play here, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it. If you're on Apple, Spotify, you'll hear it. But it's DJ Moore during his press conference. He met with the media right after OTAs ended up. And this is one of the funnier quotes. This is why I love DJ. I mean, he is – to have this type of player, which you saw his personality, you've seen his personality now since he's, been here, for over a year after he got traded from, Carolina. But just the fact that, I mean, he's just a funny player. You saw it in the schedule release video, which he kind of touched on during his media presser as well. But he just had he had a couple one-liners, remarks just overall to the media that were just so funny. And this is one of them, talking about, this one was actually talking about, him being there, how much it means for Caleb. And then the media also asked, I forgot who it was. I'm not sure who, maybe it was, I don't think it was Johns, but essentially asked him, said, hey, why are you here? What makes you you see Keenan not here, but you're a veteran player. It's OTAs. It's May. Why are you here? And he just had a funny remark. So I'm going to play it for you, and we'll go ahead and we'll chat about it real quick.
Is it important for you to be here as much as you are, and even do all the work that you do outside of OTAs, even with Caleb? Why is it important for you to be here when you don't have to be?
Shoot, $200,000 on the line. I don't want to be here and make that money. But outside of that, you got to get the connection down with Caleb and with everybody, even our room, the whole room. The whole offense just want to be around each other and build that bond and relationships that we had last year, and then form it with new people.
Is it important for you to be here?
I mean, look, I mean, that's realistic though, right?
$200K
is a lot, right? I know they make a lot, but still, I wouldn't want that just to be removed from my bank account. So, I mean,
yeah,
it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, he made a good point too. You do have a rookie quarterback. So, now thinking about it, maybe Keenan does show up next week. You know what I mean? Maybe he sees the importance of a rookie quarterback, because he did this with Herbert too, right? You remember, he was at He was in the Chargers Foundation for 12 years. So he saw them bring in multiple quarterbacks, and maybe he understands the importance of building that connection as quickly as possible, as early as possible, especially for your rookie quarterback. And let's be real, Keenan Allen, you're probably going to be his number one target a lot, right? You probably
Keenan's just a safety. Yeah, I mean, you got DJ who's just – that's the problem. I mean, that's the problem you have, or that's a good problem to have, is DJ and Keenan are just so quarterback friendly. You saw it with Justin, right? Those guys are really good to have. You have Rome, but you want to build that connection as well. But having those two guys is almost a nest. It's going to be a must early on in the season until Rome kind of gets his feet under him, at the wide receiver. Not everyone can be, Puka from the Rams, as far as just his adjustment and how quickly he took over. I mean, he had the best rookie receiving year ever. I think statistically he had the best.
I think he broke Jefferson, because I think Jefferson had it before JJ.
Yeah, which is so nuts. I mean, what a year for him. But like I said, Rome is probably going to take some time. And so for me, I just love that. I love, first of all, DJ's honesty. I think that's funny. That's what's so refreshing with him. And then, of course, I to touch on Keenan being here next week, I honestly think he will be. Just because this week was family oriented. I mean, you're celebrating birth. I think he had 2 birthdays. I'm not sure who the other one was, but I think it was both family, his wife, and then someone else. So he's up there celebrating in LA, having a good time. I would like to see him, like you said, just to say hello, pop in, even if it's just for, a couple. I don't even know how many OTAs they have next. So I think it's 2. So just one out of the 2.
I'm trying to think. Didn't JJ miss like the first week of OTAs last year, Jalen Johnson? And then he ended up showing up the second week. You remember there was all this talk about
but his was contract, right?
Well, no. He didn't do it because of contract. They knew that there was the contract discussion was like something that was going to go into the season, right? And he didn't show up, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, JJ's not showing up. Does he want to be here?" The same stuff you normally hear. And then literally like a couple days later, he shows up. He goes on to ESPN because he was doing his. I think it was 670 maybe. And he was doing like weeklies on there, and he was basically saying, "Hey, I had a camp out this week for youth. So I was out here, and I also was spending extra time with my daughter because I don't get to see her because it was in California during the season." And so then, we hear that and we're like, "Oh, okay." And then literally like days later, he was at the next OTA. So I say all of that to be like, okay, you mentioned it from the start. We don't know. We know that they weren't here today. But we don't know if they weren't here at all the previous 2 days, and we don't know if they're not going to be here next week. Like, I promise you the coaches have an understanding of who's going to show up next week or not. They've already talked to these players. They understand why they're not there. They have direct communication. So I'm not worried unless we start to hear things from Eberflus's mouth where he's like, "Well, we want him here, but he hasn't shown up," that type of speak. And I don't think we've heard that yet, so I'm not too concerned. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the issue we have here is we just don't know. We don't know what it is. So I'm not worried at all. I actually want to bring up, this was just posted. So the Bears have 1920 football drive, Ficky, as you know, which we are missing right now. It's debuting. I think it's already done, but it debuted at 7 p.m. Central Time. So we'll have to catch up on that. But I thought there's a really cool clip here where the Bears actually find out that Atlanta traded. I haven't watched yet. If you want, if you want to watch it live, our YouTube. So first of all, Spotify, Apple listeners, we apologize. But if you want to hop on our YouTube, you can check out and watch it live with us right now. But it's about a couple 2-minute clip in regards to how the Bears ended up drafting Rome Odunze. And of course, check out the Bears YouTube for the full entire 1920 drive that they just released here at 7:20.
With those.
Yeah, I mean, that's like our own little mini Hard Knocks, which these need to be an hour, not 20 minutes.
Yeah, bro, you know how much work that go into it? That's crazy.
Yeah,
no, I agree, though. I agree, though. Let's bring out movies. We need our own Bears cinematic universe, you know what I mean?
Feel free to, if you want to chime in at any moment here, you can, and we can pause it or talk through it. But again, 1920 drive, Ryan Pohl's reaction to Atlanta giving Penix. So here we go, watching it live on YouTube.
I think it goes. It's JC or Alt. Then that's the key is the Giants. You think so? You think they take Neighbors? Giants? Do we feel good they take Alt? They take Alt. If Chargers don't.
Yeah, I think if the Chargers take JC, they feel good. If the Chargers take Alt, I think that's when they're going to want to try to trade that.
Los Angeles Chargers will trade their pick to New York Giants at all costs.
So I feel like it is. Should be good. My gut tells me it's wrong.
He's just chewing that gum.
He's nervous.
What's our percentage? Penix. Shane, you okay with this? Is it too much for you? Weiss, don't send it in, but did you type Odunze, Roman? Okay.
This is cool.
It's
Bro.
Ryan from the Bears. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, man?
Good. You ready to roll?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be really fun.
Can you believe this, man?
Oh, man, it's surreal, man. It's surreal.
I cannot believe it that it worked out exactly like we said it would. It's going to be a hard cover. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
It's
So you
gonna be
already know that.
It's going to be a
With
hard
the trio
cover.
of us, we
Oh,
going
man.
to make it happen now.
With the 9th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft.
That's the third number one, number two player, though.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Can't believe it.
Yeah, I went it there. Go check it out on YouTube, the Bears YouTube, of course. What an awesome. I mean, you could see, you said it perfectly. You could see how nervous.
Bro, I mean,
nervous.
that job is on draft day. Oh my God, I couldn't.
I mean,
imagine. That man's like chewing. Bro, he is locked into that gum. That was hilarious. No, but I mean, could you imagine that though? You're trying to. They spent all this time trying to like create these mock drafts, like they do it, like scenarios. It's even still on like in current moment while the picks are. He's like, well, what do you think's gonna go here? What do you think's gonna go here? I think one of the big pieces was how quick. Like as soon as when they found out it was Michael Penix, immediately they already knew it was Rome. So it wasn't like, some GMs come and go, yeah, this is the guy we had high on our board. But like, no, you see it live where they were like, no, we wanted Rome this whole time and we didn't expect for him to fall to us. And as soon as we saw Atlanta make that pick, we were like, let's do it. To a point where he had to tell Ian Cunningham, don't send Rome in yet. Just type Odunze. You know what I mean? Like, get it ready. So I think that was cool. That's who they wanted. And they got him too.
No, you're right. I think I thought it was interesting when he said that. I think he thought the Chargers might go with Rome. He was like,
yeah.
He said his gut. And maybe I
no, you're right.
But he said my gut says to go Rome, which is that's how valuable. I mean, they were really high on Rome, which I think a lot of different teams were, and only only 10 probably had a real shot at him. So for me, I love the behind the scenes. That's why I want Hard Knocks so bad, because you get a whole episode of just Bears, and you get the trainers, you get everything. And I know it's intrusive, but as fans, I think we deserve that a little bit. Like, come on, we went through some horrible ass seasons. This is a fun team. The vibes are high, which leads me into my next thing here, Ficky. I know we're just doing videos today, but Rome Odunze, Caleb Williams, looks like a bunch of players are going to the White Sox game right now.
Yeah, Rome threw out the first pitch.
There's that's what I'm about to bring up here. So this is a great time if you are watching, if you're only an Apple, Spotify guy or BFR listener, hop on YouTube, come watch these videos with us live, because we haven't seen them, and I think it would just be a fun way to interact. But this is Rome Odunze throwing out the first pitch. Looks like Caleb's holding the baseball right now. We'll throw this on the screen.
Wow!
Little shimmy.
Yeah, we love that. It's not bad. Hammy looks good to me.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. They also got some photos of this of the action here. They got the bear claw.
Love it. Love it. Some people are not fans of that, by the way. The bear claw.
I mean,
we posted some content recently, and it reminded me of like the divisiveness of like the Fields, and not obviously to that extent, but the Fields and Caleb talks this offseason. But there's people that are like, oh, we love it. There's people that are like, yo, I can't stand it. So
yeah,
I say if we win, people won't care, but we'll see what happens.
No, I think it's definitely cheesy. I'll be honest. I really do think it's cheesy. But it's fun. It's funny.
Yeah.
I like seeing, like, my favorite part of the bear claw, at least the moment, was when Keenan, Rome, and Caleb went to the Sky game, Chicago Sky, and Keenan didn't do the bear claw in the initial photo. And then there's a video of ESPN. They basically bring Caleb, Keenan, and Rome back on the screen. You see them. And it's a little awkward. You got Caleb throwing up the claw, and then Rome throws it up. And then they look at Keenan, and then Keenan's like, all right, fuck it. He throws it up. He keeps it up there for it was like real quick. Yeah, and he starts laughing his ass off. And I thought that was funny because, I mean, he's a vet. It was almost like he was the uncle with his, two nephews, just keeping,
guys.
It was a funny moment. And so I think that's why I like it, because it's really kind of building.
Bonding at some point.
Yeah, bonding. So, however, I hate that the White Sox game. I mean, I don't even know. There's not a lot of people there. I mean, they can't be. The White Sox are trash, dude.
Yeah, the White Sox are
so bad.
Bad run organization. So,
but again, you can check out the 1920 drive on the Bears YouTube. I really highly suggest you guys do that. We're going to do that probably later today, if not maybe tomorrow. We'll see. And then I think I had another thing here. It was in regards to Ficky. You have anything you want to touch on that we've kind of talked about here?
Before you, not that, but I can do our kind of run through before we do our transition here. First off, if you are watching the show, really appreciate it. Thank you for all the support and love. As always, we go live every week in the off season, and then we'll ramp up to twice a week once the season starts. Also, if you are new here, go ahead in the chat and give a hashtag new face gang. We'll try to give you a shout out before the end of the show. And then if you are an OG, go ahead and give a hashtag OG in the chat, and we'll give you a shout out as well. Bear with us because, as we talked about, we don't have our main man and our backup, which is normally me, to make sure all that's done. So Dave is definitely doing a lot on today's episode, which we appreciate. And then also, if you really want to support us, we do have a Patreon that is live. The BFR Den is what it's called on Patreon. If you search it, you can find us. And on there, we do have two tiers. We have a rookie Grizzly tier, and we have a Hall of Fame tier full of a bunch of great exclusive things. Like we just dropped our schedule, which you can check as a free member. You can see what our schedule is for this month, where we have a one-on-one with one of our Hall of Fame Grizzly members. We're doing a video, me, Dave, and him. And then we also have a free giveaway. We're giving away a BFR hat next Friday. And then we also have a Bears mailbag next week as well, where we'll automatically answer all your questions that you submit, and just be able to answer any question that you have about the show, the Bears, NFL, anything like that. So there's a bunch of great exclusives in there. You get access to our private Discord. Once NCAA comes out, we're going to create a league on there, Dynasty. You have access to that. Madden, when the new one comes out, we'll do a league on there as well. And then any other cool features that we think would bring value to you guys, we're going to go ahead and bring that on there. And you can only get it if you join our Patreon. And then also another way to support us, which some of you already have. It's been amazing. You guys have really been great. Like I don't want it to seem like that's not important, because we do this for you guys. And we did create merch that you guys have been supporting. Some of you have bought the sweatshirts, shirts, and then a couple of you bought the hats as well. So appreciate that. You guys don't have to give us money. We do appreciate it. All that money does just go back into the show so we can keep improving this and make it better for you guys, because we want to build this up and build a community with you guys. So again, thank you all for the support. If you want to keep supporting us or you want to start supporting us, Patreon and merch is one of the best ways. And then obviously if you don't want to give us your money, that's totally fine. Just showing up here, interacting in the chat like you guys do is also great for us. And we're just going to keep pumping out great episodes. And hopefully we build this BFR and it shoots through the roof as this Bears team will, knock on wood, next year. So thank you guys for being along the ride.
No, absolutely. Support's been awesome. We're over 4,400 subs on YouTube. We're really excited about the future. Of course, this is the off season. This is probably the dullest part of the off season, which is May OTAs. But it's still, fun just to be able to talk Bears even in May. The NFL does a really good job of getting us content to kind of just, obviously digest. And we got, obviously we're going to start early like we talked about. The Bears have the Hall of Fame game, so training camp is actually pushed up a little bit. So they're starting a week earlier. And then, of course, if we get NFL, HBO's Hard Knocks, we'll be reacting every week to every episode right after it drops. So it's going to be some late night streams, of course. But we're really excited. Bears defense had an insane day, of course. And then the Bears offense has a chance to respond. I don't think there's an OTA the rest of the week. I think the boys have the weekend.
Yeah.
It's Memorial Day. Is that correct? Or is it Labor Day?
Yeah. Memorial, I think. Right? Yeah. I think Memorial. I think Labor's.
It's a holiday.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a holiday. How about that? So we won't be back until probably next. Did I say? Oh, we have a comment here. He goes, Miss MC Fett goes, Ella, you mean this year, 2024?
I think I said next year for like watching us
with
the team. So, but yeah,
I thought I said it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, MC always keeping us on our toes. Yeah, you're right. I always confused with that too. We got Devin here, who's an OG. Goes, love what y'all are doing for us fans. We appreciate it. We're fans at the end of the day as well. We just enjoy talking about the Bears. But again, during the offseason, we go live once a week. During the season, we have both pregame and postgame pods, so 2 a week. And of course, we're kind of like becoming like a YouTube show, honestly. Of course, we're a podcast at heart, but the support has been awesome. We kind of want to end here on a high note. We'll talk about the defense one more time. This is actually kind of keying on one player here that I wanted to bring up on the defense. There's a couple, but this one, head coach Matt Eberflus also said some praise of him. He said, Javon Dexter is leaner and quicker this offseason compared to his rookie year. I thought it was notable, took note of it just because he did not have to bring that up. It was just a name that he brought up during his presser. And we haven't seen or heard much of Javon. You can kind of talk about his rookie season. He had a slow start, no pun intended there, just because of his get off. But at the end of the day, he kind of came on maybe a little bit, during the end of last year, just with the Bears defense kind of also taking, huge, massive strides and improving. But I just like the fact that he mentioned it. That's it. I know you take it with a grain of salt, like we said, with everything here, but Javon Dexter, also another one that was kind of just looks the part, is Bears rookie edge rusher from Kansas.
Austin Booker.
Austin Booker, yeah.
I got you.
I just had a brain fart. I had it right in my mind. Yeah, Austin Booker. I mean, that will be interesting as far as just an edge rusher. Are the Bears going to bring in a Yannick Ngakoue type player again? I don't know. I think they're going to probably wait till training camp to see how these young players like Javon Dexter, Austin Booker, you kind of produce here. And then maybe they can just make a swing at the deadline like they've done in years past. And hopefully it's another Montez Sweat and not Canadian or Canada's finest Chase Claypool. But
he's on the American team now, right? Was the Bills? He ended up getting, which is crazy.
Yeah, he's on the Bills. He actually had a presser. He talked about it. Kind of felt bad for him. Honestly, he just said that he knows the player he was 2 years ago, and these last 2 years he mentioned have been one of the hardest of his career, and he wants to get back to that player, and he actually said he was disappointed, setting. He felt like he did fail, Chicago, and he had really high expectations with both Justin and everybody. So it was a really, felt a little bad for him. I ain't gonna lie to you. So
to be fair, I don't want players to fail, right?
Yeah.
Unless they're playing us. Like you can fail during the game. Like if I'm playing you, I want us to win. But like as a whole, this is probably his dream as a kid. Like I want him to succeed in that. And I think it's probably more of a mental than a physical because it can't be physical because this man's RAS score, he's built like a machine, right? So hopefully, he's on a winning organization with a stable quarterback, who's been there for a while. maybe, that's what he needs. He can kind of build a connection and get him going. So, especially he's in the AFC. So if you want to go off Chase now, go ahead now. It's not going to affect us that often. We don't even play you this year. So it's fine by me. But yeah, I feel you on that. I do kind of feel tough because he did take a lot of, kind of well-deserved because he didn't pan out, but like he's had a couple beatdowns these past 2 years. So
yeah. No, absolutely. But I want to get to, we have a super chat here from our guy Tito. He goes, OG in the chat, the original. He also said a super chat here. Tito, $5. We appreciate it, man. He goes, my dudes, just want to say love y'all. I'm a truck driver and I look forward to the Bears content you give us. Let's hope we're jumping for joy on Sundays. First of all, shout out to you, Tito. We appreciate it too, man. Hope you're driving safe. And we are here. I mean, trust me, we've had a lot of post games in the last year where it was very depressing. Hard to hit that record button and turn on our cameras, but we love the Bears at the end of the day. So thank you again, Tito, man.
Yeah, then shout out real quick. Then shout out Tito as well for being a truck driver. My dad was a truck driver for like 30 years. So shout out to good stuff. Y'all run America.
That shit ain't easy. I've never done it, but I can only imagine. Bro. The only thing I would like about it, this is off topic as fuck, but throwing on podcasts all day. I don't know if you could do that. Throwing a podcast, and maybe that would get boring.
You got to listen to something, right? You're on the road for, my dad used to be gone like sometimes a week or 2 weeks, depending on how far the state. You got to listen to something, bro. I can't drive 5 minutes without having something on. So I couldn't imagine. But we do appreciate that, Tito. Do you want to go through some of the chats? I mean, the OGs and whatnot. I can point them out. I can't click them, obviously. Here, let me see if I can send them. So
Hold on. I was gonna bring up this real quick, Ficky. There's another comment here. It was from Squeegee. He goes, Dave, did anyone tell you you look like Murphy, the original RoboCop? Have you seen that movie, Ficky?
Like the RoboCop from like the 80s?
RoboCop.
Is that maybe no.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know who he's referring to.
I'm bringing it up here. He says I look just like, or look. I think so. Hold on.
Okay, I can kind of see it. Yeah. I think you look more like
I've never seen the movie.
You look more like Timothy though. That's probably your doppelganger, your closest one. Yeah. Need to put a tube up your nose.
Anywho.
Look like Dune, so but yeah.
I was like, where are you going with this? Put a tube up. What?
All right. I realized that was a weird statement, but I was like, I'll get there.
Yeah. No. First of all, I appreciate that, Squeegee.
Appreciate that. We do the show for. We love the engagement. Like literally, if there was no comments, the show would be 10 times boring.
Vicky,
so, like,
MC Fat goes LOL. Vicky says the 80s like it's ancient history.
To be fair, neither Dave and I were born yet. Okay, so it is a little bit
17 more years, and I was there. If you're going from 1980,
80s, that'd have been a good that'd have been a dope time to be alive, but I didn't get to choose that. So, but yeah, it's not too far.
Another one here. We got Dobbsy34 OG #OG in the chat, and then we had Jay Sanders. I love this. He said, heard Caleb looked like ass, but he's a rookie. So,
I mean, that's fair. That is fair. I sent another one, Cody with an OG. If you can see it, I don't know if this is how it works. Sorry, I'm doing this from my phone, but.
Oh yeah, here we go, Cody.
Okay,
yeah, Cody.
And then one more too. I think we got. Oh no, we got a couple. We got two more. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, so Cody on YouTube with the #OG. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have. I sent, I think, #OG finally caught a live. Been a minute. Keep it going,
guys. I threw that one on there.
Okay, my bad. And then I think you got Devin already with the OG. Yep. Okay, cool. Sorry.
Yeah, we're all caught up. And then Squeegee goes, I graduated in 85. 1985. So
that's fire.
You got to see the Bears Super Bowl, which
we got to see one, but it wasn't. It was quite devastating. I mean, it was a high, but it started great and then ended horribly.
You said this. Oh, are you talking about our Super Bowl?
We got to see one. We didn't get to
2006?
see a winning one. Yeah, we got to see one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, that was tough.
Hosting the trophy. I mean, we had Rex Grossman, so talk about bad quarterback play.
We got there with Rex Grossman. That's impressive.
To be fair, I think we got there with how Orton played better, to be honest. And I think he played the back half of the season because Grossman was injured or whatever. And I was like, we should have just kept Orton in there. But, Monday morning quarterback, that's so easy. Tito should have a question real quick. He said, Ficky, are you going to any Bears games this year? I don't think so. But if I do, I will let you know. But I want to kind of make sure I'm here at all our post-game lives, unless we end up doing a live one in Chicago, which could be a possibility. But
we are going to be at training camp more than likely, hopefully for a couple days. So if you guys, I know they send out tickets and it's going to be a madhouse as far as getting tickets this year. But if you're going to be at OTAs, if you're going to be at training camp this year, first of all, connect with us on Twitter. It's Ficky Baby on all socials, and then Dave_BFR on all socials as well. But Twitter is where we're most active, probably the easiest to engage with. So if you're going to be there, DM us, tweet us. We'll send out the dates that will be there, of course, to kind of break down what's going on, what's transpiring. And like Tito said, we'll have a meetup party, of course. We'll probably get some food, have some fun. And then we're looking to do a couple maybe a live show, perhaps at maybe a restaurant in Chicago downtown. So we got some stuff planned that's coming up, and we're working with SM to kind of get all this stuff out and about. But of course, shout out to them. And like I said, it's gonna be fun next, hopefully, year. This is probably the best, probably the best outlook probably since after the 2018 season as far as the Bears and what they can accomplish here. You would hope so. But I mean, the hype was really high. We had the Bears 100.
It was. You
had the defense that just absolutely destroyed. But of course, most defenses always regress. It's hard to replicate a year like they had in 2018. So I kind of want to end with this, Ficky. You had a really good question. It was this post that you actually put on Twitter, but is this today of DJ Moore and Jalen Johnson. Iron sharpens iron is what the Bears said here, which is so true. You said, who wins this matchup? Is that what you said, Ficky?
Yeah, who wins one-on-one?
Who wins on one-on-one? That's tough, dude. I think it just goes back and forth, because I was gonna tweet, I was gonna caption it, and I was gonna quote tweet it, but then I was like, what do I say here? Because I like both of these guys.
I didn't have an answer, to be honest. That's why I took the easy route and said, let me ask other people, because that was the first thing I saw it, and I go, who would actually win this? It's a tough one. Let's do it. We got to.
I think it just depends on the play. It depends play to play. I don't think you can go. You can't. There's no wrong answer, because Jalen's gonna win his, and Rome's gonna DJ's gonna get his.
10 reps against each other. Okay.
Okay.
We're just having fun here, guys. 10 reps against each other. How many out of the 10 is DJ Moore winning?
6 out of the 10.
That's what I said too.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
I think DJ, because I mean, defense is hard as hell, man. And DJ
cornerback's
is
the hardest
nasty.
position.
And I mean, JJ is an athlete, but it's like, I think also when it comes to tiers, I think JJ is really, really, really good. But I think DJ is a better receiver than Jalen is cornerback right now. Not that could change this year. Does that make sense?
I hope so. Yeah,
I just think DJ is a better receiver right now than what Jalen, even though Jalen was top 5 category. Like, I might be crazy even saying this, but I just feel like DJ is a better receiver. And so I think also playing
that one-on-one is so, it feels so, I don't know how cornerbacks play defense. It seems
feels
so
like
unfair.
catered to the offense. If you're an elite receiver, you should win a lot of those. And winning is, I guess, what is winning here? Are we thinking like first down? Are we thinking,
if this is
15 plus yards?
Yeah, that's tough.
What's a win?
What are you running? If you run a quick
the Yak King is DJ, and Jalen's, he's a good tackler, but I mean, DJ's a different beast. So
that's why they got 11 on that.
I'm going 6 out of 10. Yeah, 6 reps. DJ wins, and then you
know what's good? We don't have to worry about any of that happening. So we got both of them on our squad. So good luck.
And it wasn't looking like that It wasn't looking like that always in regards to his contracts. I'm glad we locked him up. So, but we're rolling out of here. We appreciate you guys coming in, getting the Bears news today of OTAs. Really, really, it was a good day, depending how you look at it, of course, but
it's practice.
Caleb got his on Monday. Bears got his ass back on Thursday. So we'll see what happens next week. We'll recap OTAs. I think it's going to be Wednesdays when it's open to the media. So we'll be back Wednesday evening to give you guys the breakdown on everything that's happening when transpiring with the Bears football. you guys have a great week. Of course, if you enjoyed this episode, if you're new here, like, subscribe. Apple, Spotify listeners, we appreciate you as well. Rate the pod if you can. Tell a friend. And of course, we appreciate you. I probably said that way too much, but we really do. The growth has been insane this summer.
We do.
And we are excited about the season. So, Ficky, anything before we go, man?
Nah,
Prayers to your laptop.
Yeah. RIP my laptop, but hopefully, man, we get Hard Knocks, man. I thought we weren't going to get it for a minute, but Dave, every time we come on here, you're kind of flipping me to think that it's going to happen. So I'm hoping that happens and we can get some more content, especially during this dull time. Like,
if we
you
don't get hard knocks, if we don't get Hard Knocks this year, I'm gonna be pissed. I ain't gonna lie to you. There will be a rant on Twitter. Plug that real quick. Follow me.
I'll retweet it.
I am gonna be pissed. I'll be pissed at the NFL. I'll be pissed at George because I know he probably played a role in it.
It's really just George. Let's be real.
Yeah. I'll be pissed at the NFL too because money. There's no better moneymaker than the Bears right now.
That's what I'm saying. The NFL, if it doesn't happen, I think the NFL exhausted all their power. There's no way. The NFL is like, yo, we're a money-making machine over here.
Yeah.
It's
all about the money, man. Money. But also, shout out to MC Fact again. He's always reminding us here. On your way out, if you can, hit that like button on YouTube. If you're watching there, if you're watching live, if you're watching after, please hit that like button. It is so silly. I know you hear every YouTuber, probably your favorite YouTuber says it in probably, better, clever ways than us. But seriously, it does help grow the community. It gets it out there a little bit more. So it's an easy, free way to do it. Shout out to MC Fact for reminding us. But of course, we appreciate all of your guys' comments in the chat. It's been fun. We'll be back next week, hopefully with some better offensive news. If not, take it with a grain of salt. If he balls out, of course, get your tweets out there. Have some fun. The Bears are back, baby. So we'll be back next week. Ficky, take care. Enjoy your time with your family. Hate moving or hate all of that, honestly. Moving
it's not
sucks.
a fun experience. Yeah, I know, so.
Maybe go see a Caitlin Clark game since you're down in Indy. I don't know what part of Indy.
Play. Yeah, no, I'm a little bit far from that. I'm in the middle of nowhere, but I do want to see Caitlin play though, and that'd be the best place to see her is at the Bank House because it is cheap. So maybe in the future.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Anyways, shout out to you, man. Hope your MacBook, maybe get a new one. Come to the dark side. Actually, you're already on Mac. Never mind.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm rambling here. We appreciate you. Bear down. We'll be back next week. And then Ficky, anything else, man, before we get out of here?
I think we're good.
All right, boys. Well, hey, you guys have a great evening. Go watch 1920 Drive and have a great holiday weekend.
All right. Peace.